Okay, great. Hey, Bill, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great, folks. My name is Joe Fitzgerald. I'm here with Bill Gillespie. We're with Nutritional Biotech Sciences, and this is one of many podcasts that we're going to bring to you. We will be talking today about a product that NBS has brought out to the public over a year ago called Swish30. We are nanosizing glutathione and delivering it into the body, we feel, in a very cutting-edge, seamless, effective, quick way. Other nanonutrients in this, but we'll talk about that a little later on. But I'm pleased, Bill, to have you on the podcast and this live video that we'll share with the public in the near term. Bill and I worked together for a number of months now. Bill is a legend strength coach, both NFL, Liberty University. Bill, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm just going to ask you to maybe tell for a couple minutes a little bit about your background to the folks that see this. Mm-hmm. And again, everybody, we appreciate your time. Anybody who's watching this in any time zone or any day, we do appreciate it. But Bill, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into present day.
Well, as a coach, I got into coaching after I graduated from Liberty University. I coached track and field, actually. Was having a pretty successful career, but my team was doing well because of strength and conditioning. And I had a mentor, Dave Williams at Liberty, who taught me how to be a strength and conditioning coach. And I couldn't believe they would pay somebody to do this. I thought it was the greatest job in the whole wide world. And so I ate it up, man. Right. And after working with him for a few years, I had the opportunity to go to the University of Washington because I'm from Tacoma. And one of my dreams one of my high school teammates played for him and was a captain. And I always thought, well, maybe I can't play for him, but maybe I could coach there one day. And I got to go to the University of Washington. I coached there for 11 years. My first year there, we were co-national champions with the University of Miami. Then we ended up going to 3 Rose Bowls during the 11 years I was there. Got to coach several big-time athletes. And after coaching at the University of Washington, I went across the lake and I had the opportunity to coach with the Seattle Seahawks, which, of course, growing up, the Seahawks started in 1976, which was about my sophomore year in high school. And so, yeah, they've always been my favorite team. So the opportunity to work for them, oh my gosh, the quarterback coach, Jim Zorn, and he was the quarterback when the Seahawks started. I'm like, I can't believe I'm sitting next to this guy. And my second year there, Jerry Rice was on the team. And I'm like, I'm stretching Jerry Rice out before a game, just like, oh my gosh, I can't hurt this man. This guy's the greatest wide receiver in the world. And I don't want to be the guy, the schmuck that takes him out,
Oh, my, that's funny.
But I got to work with several that are currently in the NFL Hall of Fame, and I got to see what really, truly elite athletes. I had a suspicion after working at Washington what guys could do.
Yeah,
I had no clue. I had no clue what people could do after, until I went to the Seahawks. Hey, Joe, here's a crazy example. I went bowling with the team,
right.
Okay?
Right.
I thought I could bowl. I could bowl, they were going golfing the next day. I can't golf, but I thought I could bowl, okay? Right. And I show up, and our punter's throwing strikes from between the legs and behind the back. And I'm like, I thought it was one of those practical jokes. And I kept looking around going, where's the camera? This couldn't possibly be true. And this kid's just throwing these strikes, and I'm like going, oh my gosh, I can't throw a strike to save my life. And he's doing them from behind the back,
That is funny. That's funny.
He's a punter. He's not even supposed to be a real athlete, and I'm just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? There is absolutely no way I'm going to the golf course tomorrow. Man,
Did you make the bowling team or no? Did they invite you back?
No, man, I ended up Jerry Wanch, who was a 6'7", 340-pound offensive lineman, gigantic man, okay?
Right.
He's over there trying to teach me how to bowl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, man. But it's when you see them do other athletic events that you realize, wow, okay, these guys aren't just big and strong and fast. I mean, they are super talented, and they're also extremely competitive. I don't remember a day in the weight room that went by where there wasn't $200 bet on something.
Right.
I bet you can't do 30 pull-ups in a row. I bet you can't do this.
Right.
Yeah, $200 is nothing for them.
Nothing. Right.
Yeah, they would play poker on the plane. The team played at the games.
Right. Right.
And Coach Fulgram comes back and tells me, "Hey, Bill, you're in charge to make sure this doesn't get excessive." I said, "Coach, man, when they started playing with paper money, it got excessive to me. Those suckers lose $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on a plane trip.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's way out of my league.
So you must have been like a kid on Christmas morning when you realized you were going to coach the Seahawks.
Oh,
right.
I remember this clear as day. The drive there, the first day. I mean, it was euphoric. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, it was so incredible. Not just the players, but the coaches. I mean, you're working with legendary coaches. Mike Holmgren. I mean,
Mike Holmgren.
It was just and like every week you'd have some kind of major reporter, sportscaster walking through there, superstar, like movie stars walking around going, "Hey, I really want to meet some football player." You're just like, wow, this is crazy,
And you were the strength and conditioning coach, is that correct?
I was the assistant, yes, for I loved it, man.
Yeah.
The only thing was the players. You don't really develop players at that stage,
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so the job surprisingly is really, really, really easy.
Mm-hmm.
They're people think you got all these players with egos and stuff like that. That's not the case at all. They're super cooperative. For the most part, very, very coachable, and you don't have to force them into doing anything because you don't really have to develop anything. You just have to keep them healthy.
Interesting point. So much different than for you than at Liberty University, where you have to develop these kids, right?
You had to develop. You had to take, chicken poop and make it into chicken soup. You know what I mean? And it sometimes it was a little unrealistic of what they'd expected, and it came from the coaches and the players. You just kind of look at, are you kidding me? I had a kid who's 5'9" come to me and ask me, what do I need to go to the league? And I said, well, what's your major?
Yeah.
He goes, what's that make a difference? I said, I said, you weren't talking about being a player, were you? And he goes, well, yeah. And I says, oh, that ain't never going to happen. I thought you were talking about like as an administrator coaching or something. And he goes, well, you don't have to be like that. I says, oh, I'm sorry, but I don't know if you've ever been around the NFL football team, but I'm 6 foot, and I'm 6 foot 330 at the time. And they made fun of me for being so small.
Really?
Yeah. They call me a hobbit. I'm like, no, I'm not a freaking hobbit.
Oh, that's funny. Long story short, I live in Sarasota, Florida, right? I lived up in the tri-state area my whole life. And my twins, I have a boy and a girl who are now in freshmen in college. Long story short, my son was playing football, offensive line and defensive line in New Jersey. Fast forward, comes down to Florida and plays 4 years at Riverview High School. We were 2 games away from state last year. But my point to you, and you could tell me better than I could tell you, of course, the level of athleticism of these kids that are in high school is off the charts. Yeah. And a lot of his friends, a few of them got like 10 or 12 or 15 scholarship offers from D1 schools. But my point is, watching 8th grade football in New Jersey and then coming to Florida in the Southeast and watching them grooming for the college and then the pros, the level of talent you must have seen is probably mind-boggling. Yeah,
and you may not know this, but actually New Jersey is one of the top states for football players in the NFL. So you're seeing obviously Florida's unbelievable, okay?
Right.
Florida, California, Texas, loaded, okay?
Yeah, they're loaded.
But imagine coming from from an area where they don't hardly play football and going to something like that. It's overwhelming. And the same thing's true, in the NFL. Some of these guys think, because they were, really good at a small college, all of a sudden they're going to come to the NFL and they're going to excel. And it's like, dude, you're in for a fight. And a lot of people don't know this, is that a lot of football players in the NFL are struggling financially. because you only get paid after every game that you're activated.
That's
so
right.
a lot of these players, they're in there working out year round. They get a little money for working out. But when it comes time for the football season to start, if they don't get activated for the game, they might get practice squad money, which is not very much. But they're living in, they're having to have a place for themselves to live in the city, where they're playing. And a lot of times they got a wife and kids in another city, and they have car payments. And a lot of them have to quit playing football because they can't afford it.
It's funny you mentioned, we used to, in my wealth management practice before I joined NBS, we had some football players. And they would talk to us for the first 8 months of the year, like, we're tight, we don't have, and then of course when the season started, that weekly check would come into their account, Yeah. But you're right, like those first, during the summer, obviously they get a little stipend to work out and get to the training camp. But yeah, they're all looking at that 16 weeks where they're getting paid every week, because that's when they get the bulk of their money. That's when they get it.
Yeah.
That's interesting you say it. Now, folks, I want to mention Bill Gillespie is 60 years old, and most recently, he has been breaking world records on bench pressing. Bill is drug-free. He's been lifting, Bill, 50 plus years probably. Is that right? You fell in love with weightlifting when you were young, right? I started lifting
when I was old enough to know I could develop a muscle.
And what do you attribute that? I mean, did you just take to it like a fish to water kind of thing when you started?
My folks told me I was 2-3 years old.
Really?
Yeah. They would tell me my grandfather had a big old spike in a stump and hand me a little hammer and told me if I pound on that nail, I'll get big muscles. I'd sit there all day long. The whole thing.
Really?
We go see him on Sundays. All Sunday afternoon, I'd sit there and just beat on that thing forever till I finally, weeks later, knocked it in all the way down. But they were just like, this kid's obsessed with it. And I've always wanted to be strong. And the thing was, Joe, is that I wasn't always strong.
Right. Right.
Everybody sees what I do now, and they think, well, this is who he's always been. But like in the 9th grade, I did 600 push-ups a day.
600 push-ups a day.
12 sets of 50. Yeah.
Wow.
I would do 200 in the morning, 200 after school, and 200 at night. And it really wasn't that hard, because if you break it down to 4 sets of 50, it really wasn't that hard. But, it adds up. But I was so dedicated, I wanted to get strong. After all that work, and I bench pressed, and I did all the kind of work. After college, I went to the first drug-free national powerlifting championships and benched 341 pounds and didn't have a bad day. The second worst guy benched 375. I was the worst guy by far. And then at the age of 35, I gotten it up to about 440, 450, which is good. It's good. But after all those years, it wasn't all that. It wasn't great. It was good, but it wasn't great. And that's when I decided. I said, you know what? There were certain people that had given me encouraging information. If I, and I took that information and I developed my own training method. I went radical, just said, hey, I'm going to start from scratch. I don't care what anybody else has done. I've been exposed to some of the greatest strength coaches literally in the world. And I developed a whole new system of training. And that's when my bench started to go off. I went up to 578, then it jumped to 639 at the age of 38, and everybody said, okay, that's as good as you're going to get. At the age of 40, it jumped to 700. At the age of 49, it jumped to 804, and everybody's like, that's as good as you're ever going to get. You're not going to do any more. And for 10 years, they were right. And at the age of 59, all of a sudden my bench started taking off. Now, this is when I got introduced to Swish. All right. And it wasn't I got to tell people need to know this. I've never really even said this before. It wasn't instantaneous. Okay.
Right.
It wasn't like, whoop, I drink it and I became Popeye. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was a process. It was like taking it over and over and over for a long period of time, that all of a sudden my bench press started to respond. And all of a sudden I got 835. I was thrilled, man. 835 after 10 years. This is incredible at the age of 59, more than any man had ever done. Then it went to 870. Then it went to 900, 915, 937, 953. And then just last December, at the age of 60, I benched 1,003. And then in February, I benched 1,015, which is 12 pounds more than anybody's ever benched, any age, in a drug-tested meet. Is that crazy or what? That's nuts.
It's truly mind-boggling in a few ways. And you said you hit like a plateau. Everybody was telling you that you hit the ceiling when you were 10 years ago, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
And that's a testament to you working hard. We talked about this before, about the tipping point. Malcolm Gladwell in his book talks about 10,000 hours. Like, people seem like they're overnight successes, but they're working hard every day. You've been doing it for 50 years.
Yeah.
But my point is you broke through that paradigm, right? Yeah. And good point about Swish, because what we're delivering is glutathione into the body. Glutathione, it's been said by some doctors, is the second most important thing in your body behind water. Your body makes it, but as we get older. Bill, talk about, because there is a cumulative effect. It's not like some people take a capsule, right? You take a little capsule, you swish it for 30 to 60 seconds, and you swallow it. Some people feel it quickly, but talk about you mentally and physically, what you started to feel over time.
Well, I was like a lot of other people. At first, I'd take a cap, you know, and I'm like, well, I don't really feel much about it, and over time, I started making some gains, and I thought, well, maybe there's something to this stuff, So I'd put it to the test, So I remember going to a meet, and I said, okay, I can't take too much caffeine. I don't too much caffeine, and you get the jitters, and you got wasted energy. Okay, it's too much nervous energy. You believe it or not, people ask me, what am I thinking when they hand me 1,000 pounds, and I'm telling them I'm thinking about relaxing. And they're like, are you kidding me? Right. Because, the first thought is not to relax. But what ends up happening is if you don't relax, you end up contracting a lot of the antagonistic muscle groups that make you work against yourself, making it harder. And so I don't need a lot of caffeine, but what I need is to be focused and concentrate. I don't go get hyped. I don't go bounce off the wall. That's wasted energy. All my energy is focused on what I need to do. And so I said, you know what? I told my guys, I said, I'm going to put this Swish to the test. And I said, I'm going to see how much I can take, and let's see what happens. And I'm sitting there in the meet, just as calm, relaxed as could be. And they're like, Coach, we've never seen you like this. I said, yeah, I've almost gone through a whole bottle of Swish. The warm-ups and the halfway through the meet, I just kept downing the stuff. And the more I took, the more calm I was, but I was laser focused. I didn't have to go get hyped. I was laser focused, and I had a great meet. My bench jumped from 915 to 953 that day, and I know I could have done more. I could have done more.
I remember you telling us that. You knew that. Yeah.
So, and that's when I started going, okay, hey, wait a minute. You know what? You this is doing something for you, Right. And the problem is that so many people, they want to feel a buzz. They want to go and feel like
that's true.
Like they took some caffeine or something.
That's right.
And I can feel that, But the reality is that's not the way it works. It's really you're really gonna see a long-term progression in it. And I'm afraid that a lot of people, they buy a bottle. The worst thing is just buy a bottle, okay?
Right.
You're going to feel a little bit. You're going to go, But then when you go 3 bottles and you take it like you're supposed to take it, then all of a sudden about the 3rd bottle, you're going, things are going the way they should be going. Right. I'm feeling the way I think I should feel. Instead of, gosh, I feel beat up. Oh, my gosh, I feel tired. I just don't know if I can do this, And I think that's the trick to it, is that consistent. You got to be consistent.
That's
and
it.
You got to be and stay with it. Don't just take it and get it. And I'm not telling you people that because I want you to buy Swish. I'm telling you because I know that's what works. That's what I've had to do. It's not something that was an overnight success. Just like my lifting.
Right. It's a good point you make, because there is a consistency to taking it, a cumulative effect over time.
Yeah.
Very interesting what you said. You've said this to me before, and we've talked about this probably dozens of times already, that you told me, you said, Joe, yes, physically I'm recovering, as you know, Bill, because you're introducing us to a lot of them, professional athletes, collegiate athletes, they're finding recovery time with this is really, really good. But you really, what really rang my bell is when you said the mental aspect for me is just as important as the physical aspect, because I don't have to wreck my adrenal glands getting pumped up or take a 5-hour energy and get that high and then that crash feeling. You were like in the zone the whole time without wrecking, like you said, like wrecking your adrenals, trying to before you get on the bench. And, you know, we're finding from a lot of folks, just so everybody knows who's watching this, yes, a lot of professional elite athletes like Bill Gillespie, who's now working with us, and we're super fortunate to have him, are using this for pre and post workout, right? But I'm talking, Bill, as you know, to grandmothers and grandfathers and mothers and fathers and kids, and they're telling me—
Throw me in that grandfather category, okay?
Yeah, amen. But they're telling me that literally there's a lot of lanes, and we're starting to wrap the science around the product now. We've got a lot of testimonials of people are telling me, you know, grandmothers that couldn't really walk, that they have a sense of well-being and their inflammation is down and they're recovering and they're sleeping better. So again, we can't make medical claims, but what really stuck out to me when I started talking to you in the early days was the mental and physical component of the product, delivering the glutathione and the nanonutrients with this nanotechnology. We believe it's getting into the body quicker and more efficiently. And the fact that you've proved it, I mean, you've been on our product probably longer than anybody aside from the founders and their family and friends. And this originally started out as a sports supplement. And then all of a sudden, people around Steve Scott, who's our founder, were telling him, hey, you know what? I feel clear. I feel clarity. My inflammation in my body is way down. I don't have creaks. I'm not aching in the morning. I'm taking the dog for longer walks. And then they started to apply it before I joined the company. They started to apply it and they made it available. So whether you're an elite athlete or a grandmother or a grandfather or just a mother of 4 trying to get through the day, be consistent. We suggest a couple of capsules, 2 to 3 capsules a day. Yeah. Bill, you were taking a bottle a day, and athletes take a lot more of it, but it is important to be consistent with it because there is a cumulative effect. And I do notice, you tell me, if I'm not on it for a few days, like I'll test myself. I'll go off it for a week just to see. And I'll notice changes. Fog may come back a little, you know, and I'm starting to creak like the Tin Man. Like you said, you did 600 push-ups a day in high school. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I did 600 push-ups all through high school. But it's amazing to me what you're doing. And obviously you're a big proponent of what we're doing and how we're delivering it. But the fact that you're breaking these world records, I mean, folks, you also need to know Bill has got a heart of gold. And he right now, Bill, talk a little bit about, like, now you're on the speaking circuit. People are inviting you in to talk to the kids and to the college folks and even the professional strength coaches. Or, I mean, you've been to plenty of them so far. And people are coming up to you saying, wow, you're changing, you're shattering paradigms, you're breaking these records. So tell us a little bit about your speaking circuit and what you're doing for the people out there.
Well, unfortunately, right now, because of the virus, we're not able to get out to the places that we'd like to go. And I had scheduled to speak with some great big opportunities recently. But instead, I've been on the doing a lot of podcasts and clinics online. And what happened was when I was at Liberty, I was given the belief that I had, immaculate, incredible job security. Mm-hmm. So I felt like everything that I did, why would I go tell everybody else what I'm doing when I wanted to take care of Liberty? You know, I was having incredible results with my athletes, so I kept all the secrets to myself. Yeah. Well, when it turned around and I didn't have great job security and the new coach came in and, you know, how it works in athletics, I lost my job. And all of a sudden I went and realized, whoa, wait a minute. You know what? I kind of messed up because I didn't make myself a commodity by telling people about what we did, you know, kind of caught me.
Right.
You know? So what I decided to do was, you know, I'm 60 years old. And I don't want to take all this information to the grave with me. I want to share it. So I've been out there sharing all these just different training secrets with people. They're all like, oh my gosh, I never thought about this, you know?
Right.
And, you know, and then, you know, I'll post it on social media and my athletes will say, yeah, I remember doing that 25, 30 years ago. And, you know, other strength coaches are going, oh my gosh, I've never heard of that in my life.
Right.
And
Right.
it's so simple. And but it's it's from years and years and years of trying to find a way to go to the next level. How can
Right.
I say this all the time. It's that if I hit a wall, all right, and I can't get over that wall, like and I can't go left or right because that would be compromising or cheating.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What do? I don't just quit. I can't quit.
Right.
You know? And so what I found I have to do as a man of faith is I got to get on my knees and I pray.
Right.
And I said, God, show me how to get through this wall. Show me a way that is to get through the wall. And all of a sudden, boom, I get this revelation of an idea that I'm like going, oh my gosh, that's so simple. Nobody's ever thought of this before. And then I can go through that wall and break through that barrier. And I go on and on, and like I said just a little bit ago, I hit plateaus.
Yeah.
And if I continue to stay at that plateau and do the same thing over and over and over again, which is the definition of an idiot.
Right.
I gotta go and constantly willing to experiment to perfect what I'm doing to take myself to the next level. And at 60, it's getting to be where you're kind of running out of time, and I don't, I'd love to say I could do this forever, but
Right.
that I'm a pretty big guy, and I do a lot of cardio, but it's probably not the safest thing in the world for me to stay this big for the rest of my life, so I'm probably gonna have to stop someday. But
Right. Meaning what? You would just readjust the goals, and I mean, you're still going to work out. I mean, you're a guy that works out every day.
I'm gonna work out all day,
like you breathe, right?
But
Right.
I'm 65 pounds from the biggest bench press of all time. Okay.
And is that your goal? Is you want to get there?
Yeah.
Yep.
I want the biggest bench press of all time and do it drug free, and do it at 60.
60, right?
Yeah, and if I could do that, I wonder if I'll be greedy and go, I could still do a little more. But,
Let me go for 1100, right?
Yeah, that's the next number, and so you just, at the time, I remember 900. You should have seen me celebrating after I did 900. I couldn't believe it. I was jumping it down, screaming and hollering. I was ecstatic. And everybody goes, so what's your next goal? And they'd laugh and say 1,000. And I went, I'd go, 916, and I just tell them, well, just a little bit more. But yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm going, I'm going for training. I'm working for 1,000, So people ask me now, what's your goal? 1,016. Well, one more pound than I did.
One more pound than you did the last time, right?
But really, in the back of my mind, I'm going 1,100. Oh, I wonder if 1,200's even out there, I mean, just why not? So many times people limit themselves because of fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, or lack of self-doubt. Well, my confidence isn't in me. Okay.
Right.
My confidence is in the God that lives in me. And I don't have to worry about what I'm capable of doing because I know I'm frail, I'm weak, and I know how easily it is to be, weak as a kitten,
Right. Yeah.
So, Joe, back in the mid 80s, I was up in a homemade tree stand, and it broke on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell 20 feet, land on the back of my neck. I actually was laying on top of a gigantic rock after I landed. I rolled over. My head just barely missed the edge of that rock. And I broke my back in 3 places.
Oh, wow.
And I'm laying there on the ground, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I got a really heavy workout this afternoon.
Well, you have a broken back. You're thinking, oh my God, I have to work out today.
How am I going to do this? And I'm like, just modify it. And I'm like, I couldn't even stand up. I stood up for a second. I got back down. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to work out this afternoon? And fortunately, a buddy of mine, he saw me, heard me fall. And we were about a mile up in the woods, and he helped clear the leaves so I could walk down the mountain. And then we had to get in the Jeep and ride through the rough terrain with a broken back. And I walked in the hospital. My wife did x-rays, and I said, hey honey, I I hurt my back. And she looked at me, she's like, oh, you're going to be okay. And I said, I don't think so, man. It's pretty bad, you know? And
Yikes.
they got me in the emergency room and x-rayed, and I ended up spending 4 days in the hospital. But I didn't even get to do a workout at that point in time. But, yeah, I've been through some setbacks, man, hard times.
I mean, your tenacity is amazing. And the way you talked about how you take a step back, you keep doing it. You don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over, because that's insanity, right? Yeah. Expecting a different result. But you take a step back, you put your faith in God that flows through you, and you ask for, how do I get through it? Like, the things that are impossible with men are possible with God. Yeah. And you ask, show me the next step. I don't need to know all 100 steps. No. Just show me the next step, and then the next step, and then your will through me, kind of thing. And the fact that you're able to recalibrate and continue to, I always just talk to my son about this plan. You got to reset. You got to change. You got to adapt to what's happening and believe you can do it. And you talk about the fear of failure and the fear of success. It's the same stick, just a different end, but it's fear. And it's really false evidence appearing real. FEAR, false evidence appearing real. And once, I mean, you're shattering, like, not only your own paradigms when you were 40 or 50 years old, right? Yeah. I mean, you told me you went to a coaches conference a couple of months ago before the pandemic started, and people were coming up to you left and right, like, right? Like, mind blown, like, literally, like, oh my gosh, you're 60 years old, you're drug free, and you're putting up weight that is, like, literally unheard of. And it's a testament to your work ethic, obviously. We know you internally. You've got a heart of gold, and obviously you're a man of service.
You know what? And I really want to thank everybody with Swish, because it's played a huge role in helping me, give me the ability to prepare for the workout, execute a great workout, and to recover from a great workout. It does. It's not like a magic sauce where I drink it and all of a sudden I bench a lot of weight.
Right.
That's not what it does. Right. You could drink all you want. You're not gonna bench even 800 pounds. Okay.
No.
But what it does. But what it does is people who have goals and dreams and are willing to work for it, it's going to allow you to do it at a higher level, more often, more frequently, and that's what's going to lead to success. It's not just for weightlifting. The thing about 1,000 pounds is it's measurable. Okay, 1,000 pounds has never changed. In my years, it's the same thing it was 60 years ago. It didn't change. The variable that changed was me. All right, I had to change. I had to grow. I had to get the mental state. And it's something that, people go, well, I don't really want to bench 1,000 pounds. Well, of course you don't. Okay, I understand that. But what you want is you want to see what I was able to accomplish through the measurement of the weights and the time and effort that I put into it. And if you take that same principles and apply it to business, to life, family, you're going to see some incredible successes in your life if you take the same principles and apply it.
Great. It's a great life lesson. I mean, we talk about it internally with what you're doing physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, of course. And I remember the first time that I saw your video when you did 935. It was end of last summer, I think, if you did it. And I was doing my research on glutathione and the product and the technology. And Jim Weiland, who was the CEO, introduced me to the team. I've known Jim for 30 years. And I said, this is interesting. And then I watched your video. He sent me the link. I'll never forget it. I was sitting in my car. I had just gotten the product for the first time. And I just, like, instead of buying a coffee, I did a swish. And the next thing I know, after a few days, I felt it. But anyway, I'm watching you on my phone, and I'm going, oh, my. Oh, and I said to Jim, I go, he's drug-free? I asked him, he's drug-free, question mark, question mark. He wrote back, yeah. And he wrote, just, well, watch the video. Get more well-versed with Coach Bill Gillespie. And I remember watching it going, oh, and I showed it to my son. And I remember his eyes go, like, big, because he knows how to, he doesn't lift like you do, but he knows lifting, and his eyes went big, and he's like, and he looked, I remember he turned to me, he goes, Dad, is this real? And I go, Dominic, that's real, pal. I'm getting the chills right now. And he goes, you're working for this company now? He goes, this guy, and I said to him something similar. I go, it's not like you take it like Popeye and you get, all of a sudden you get these muscles, and it's not a one-shot thing. You got to, Bill's been working at this for 40 years, but I remember watching your first video saying, oh my. And then after, you take your team, right? Your team goes to a meet, and you started stair-stepping up from 935 up close to 1,000, over 1,000. And we would be, I remember all of us, Jimmy, Steve, Ryan, myself, everybody internally at Swish30 were like, couldn't wait to hear if you broke the next record. And then you would send us a video on the thing of your team taking it, and you would be boom on the bench, bang. And we would like, I remember cheering like a Saturday morning, like Saturday afternoon when I got it, I was like, yeah, he got it, because it's still mind bending to some of us. I mean, you're doing it. We know you're doing it, but and you notice obviously the mental component, but this helps you. It helps you in the recovery, because a lot of athletes have told us the recovery time, they find that they can go longer, quicker, faster, maybe in terms of because the recovery is the key, right? I mean, after you break the world record, right? What do you feel like the next day, the next few days? I mean, your body must be taxed, right?
You know, it's a lot of it is because of that amount of weight, the joint compression is it's undescribable. Right. I actually, for about 12 hours, feel euphoric. I feel
euphoric, right?
Fabulous,
right?
Because of the swish, the physical aspect of muscles and everything, but the joints from the compression of that weight for about 3 days, it's like, oh, I got to get that fork to my mouth. Oh my gosh. You know, because you just feel like the Tin Man. You can't move. You know, it just hurts to move. And you just tell yourself, you've been through this before.
Right.
You know, after 3 days, you're going to be fine.
Right.
And so you know, okay,
you ride it out.
You're going to ride it out. You're going to be miserable. There's not much I found I can do other than moving around just to make myself feel a little better. But
for about 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, but you know what I do? I lift.
Are you lifting those days? Like, will you lift the next day or the day after, or you'll take the break? You will.
I never take a break. I never take a break. Monday, I'll go in and start back training. But that usually makes me feel better by getting that workout in. You know,
right.
That's one of the tricks to lifting properly. Is that if you're hurting, you should feel better at the end of the workout than you did at the beginning of the workout.
What do you attribute the when you said you hit that plateau at 835 or whatever it was there something there? I mean, you said there were some people in your life that were catalysts for you in certain ways, right? To break you through. God, of course, was a big part of it. But can you pinpoint any 1 or 2 things that happened that got you out of that 830? Once we got to 835, I mean, were you thinking 1,000 pounds after that, or you were thinking
804? Yeah, I was. Yeah, 804. I was stuck there for 10 years.
804.
Just convinced I was never ever going to get any better, and you know, it's just people not giving up on me.
Yeah.
Encouraging me. You know, I've been blessed. Like I've said, I've never had a major injury.
Right.
Which is really, really, really important. Because it's your central nervous system that dictates your strength. Okay. The muscular system plays some role to it, but it's your nervous system that plays a role. So as long as you don't have an injury, it's when you get injured that you lose your ability to utilize your central nervous system effectively. So I've been staying injury free, which has allowed me to put up big weight.
That's huge.
I've been patient. You know,
you said you have been patient or impatient?
I have been patient.
You've been patient, right?
People going, they get so focused on the goal. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And I understand that. Okay.
Right.
You know, we all want 1,000 pounds, you know, or whatever, you know, we want to do something incredible, but it's the process that that's where you spend 99.9% in doing the process. And that's where you got to really embrace and enjoy the process, because that's where you're going to spend most of your time. And you know,
nobody sees. When you get up and you break the world record, nobody sees all the hard work.
That part. What they don't see is when you're trying to go to bed at night and your body hurts so bad that you can't even lay down and go to sleep.
Right.
You know, they don't see that part of what you go through. Agony of all the pushing and the mental, the anxiety of the mental preparation to do these kind of workouts. People don't understand. I don't see all that. That's the worst part of it all. The meat's cake. I wish that's all the part I had to do. But the workouts are just brutal. but you know, that's the part that, you know, helps me grow as a man, because what I found out was that through that process of high intensity preparation,
Mm-hmm.
it not only changed my ability to bench press a lot, but it changed me as a man. You know, my ability to handle stressful situations is
Mm-hmm.
my ability to not be afraid in a scary or stressful situation. People are like, man, you're not afraid of anything. I'm like, I face that enemy all the time. You know, and like when I get ready to bench press,
Yeah.
100, I know what I got to do to get ready to do 800. And
Right.
I know you do that week after week after week after week. You know how to turn your mind on immediately, right? And so what's really nice is when I had to go to these 1,000-pound bench presses. I try to describe this to people, and I'm not very good at it. But you got to go to a really, really dark spot. Okay, it's not evil, but a really lonely spot in your mind. And yeah, I mean, it's deep, and it's something that it's almost it's hard to describe, but it's not someplace that's easily approachable.
Is that what elite athletes like you guys call the zone in a way? Are you
the zone is when a lot of times when everything's moving slowly.
Right.
But that happens more in the game time situation.
I see.
Preparation.
You're talking about the prep going into that dark spot.
Oh, yeah. You know, because it's really easy when you got a competition situation where you have a crowd cheering for you.
And the adrenaline's going. And
the adrenaline's going. Right. But when the adrenaline's not going, I got to load the bar up and I got to do 900 pounds for reps or whatever.
Right.
You know, that's pretty hard to do, to get yourself to that spot without, you know, and when you see lifters going and hyped up and banging their head against wall, yeah, that's so superficial that it's all play. It's don't even fall for it. It's play. They're trying to convince themselves to get ready to do it. Okay, it's not the rage is from way down deep inside, and this is where the Swish helps me so much in helping me get to that zone.
Mm-hmm.
Where I can go and handle those kind of workouts. I can't just turn it on like that. It's hard.
So we're going to wrap up here quick soon, but so getting into that space for you now, is it easier than it was 6 or 12 months ago, or is it the same process getting into that dark place? Is it easier now, or is it the same?
Well, here's the difference. 6 months ago, it was 800 pounds. Now it's 900 pounds, you know? So, you know.
So you got to dig down into the reserves of Bill Gillespie and God and say, it's like, all right, I got to find it.
Yeah, it's even more intense. It's more, you know, risk. There's, you know, and emotionally, physically, I can't afford a bad day. Right? You know, I can't just go and say, oh, you know, I had a bad day. That set me back huge. So I got to have a successful day. So, you know, not only do I have to go and make sure that I'm mentally prepared, but everybody in that room with me better be ready, focused, because I can't afford you to be distracting me
at all.
At all. It's not, you know, because I could get hurt. I could have a bad workout. It's over. 50 years of hard work over because one guy wasn't focused
for 2 seconds. It could take a second or two.
Boom.
And it's interesting. I'm so blown away by the mental. I mean, physically what you're doing, but the mental component, emotional, spiritual component of what you're doing, because these are literally life lessons. Like you said, it could be benching. It could be you want to build a business. It could be you want to be the best father or grandfather or mother or grandmother or being of service to yourself and your man, whatever it may be. And Bill, you're inspiring. I mean, you inspire us internally. We know you're inspiring people externally from our company for sure. You're working with Sarnex as well. And I find it to be a sweet spot for you. And I've said this to you before, all the hard work. Now, obviously, when the pandemic's over, you're on the speaking circuit. You're going to go back to another meet. I don't know when the next meet will be, but
Yeah.
you're still at it. And I think it's I know people when they get in a room with you or they see a video like this, and I saw your interview last night again with the other gentleman. People feel it, you know, and their life lessons. It's not about, maybe people don't want to put up 1,000 pounds,
Right.
but they do want to get better. Deep down, they want to get better in certain parts of their life. And I think it's hugely valuable life lessons. So what's in the cards for you now? I mean, I know we have the pandemic and we're shut down to maybe May or June, but prior to this, you were going to look to go for another world record possibly in June. Is that what you're looking at?
That's what I'm hoping for. I should be finding out this week when the meet's going to be. We're looking at June sometime. We're going to the next meet. So what I've been doing is I've got to become really, really, really careful that I don't overdo it.
Right.
Because I got to be fresh going into this. But at the same point in time, for me to put up more weight, I've got to build a new platform. So it's kind of tricky what we've been doing. You know, of course, I get gung-ho, and I kind of overdid it last week. But, you know, I backed off this week, and I'm feeling really, really good now.
Right.
So, as soon as I know when this next meet's coming up, I get to start going to the meet preparation, you know.
That's exciting. It's exciting, Bill. Folks, we're going to put a link. We're probably going to post this up to YouTube, maybe Facebook. We're also going to create a podcast with this audio. But we may put it into, and I'll put some links on the YouTube channel of Bill's previous, so you have it. Obviously, Bill, we appreciate you. We appreciate your time here today, because I think folks will get a lot out of this, whether you're a weightlifter, elite athlete, or like I said, a grandmother, a grandfather, a mom or dad. Somebody's going to get something out of it, at least one or two people. That's always our goal, right? Help one or two, and if you help 20 or 30, even better. But we do appreciate the time. And folks, if you need anything, you can always reach us at support@swish30.com. You can reach Coach Bill at swish30.com. Reach out to us and let us know. You can obviously check us out online at swish30.com. We're very excited about this. And like I said, it started as a sports supplement, but now it's the everyday person that's using it, being consistent with it, and just finding the quality of life is better for them mentally, physically, emotionally. Sleeping's better also. Again, we can't make medical claims, but Bill, listen, you're a giant. You got a giant heart, and we love you, and we appreciate the time.
Well, I appreciate that, Joe. You know, these people need to. I want to make sure they know that. Yeah, I bench press a lot of weight, but that's not my life. Okay,
that's right. That's right.
That is a part of my life, but it's not who I am. You know, I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a cousin. I'm a businessman. I'm a man of faith. I have all these other aspects of my life that, just like everybody else out there, I want to excel. I don't want to get by. I want to be excellent in everything that I do. And this is why I know that this could help them, because these other areas of my life are also just as important to me. And
absolutely.
So when other people are saying, you know, hey, you know, I don't want to be a bench presser, but I'm going to go, hey, but I know what it's like to be a father. I know what it's like to be a husband, you know, and I want to be excellent at that too, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's a great point. It's a great point. You know, you're not just a unbelievable weightlifter and straight coach. You have different lanes in your life that you want to be better in. We all do. We all have different lanes, physically, family, social, financially, anything we want to be better in. But I'm glad you nailed it. You ended it like that, because it's important to know that it's, you know, it's not just, your life is not just about lifting weight off the bench. No, it's not that at all.
Fish and hunt. And if I turn this camera around, you'd see a wall of 30 fishing rods on there. I love the fish, you know. I love the hunt. You know, I've caught some big fish before, but I've never hunted. I mean, as many years as I've hunted, I've never got anything giant in my life. But I sure have tried, you know. And I want to be excellent at everything I accomplish. And my wife, you know, people have said to my wife, you know, hey, maybe you should try some other sport. And my wife's like, no way. This guy's like, he wants to be the greatest at everything he does. He don't need to be taking up another sport, you know?
Right.
And that's how I am, you know? So I know I hope I know what other people feel like besides just lifting weights and when they want to be excellent in life.
You nailed it. I couldn't have said it any better. And we may just end there, because that's important. Like, you're 60 years old. I'm 51 years old. I'm not getting out of bed like I was at 30, you know, with the creaking and all that. And all I know is that for me, I'm not a weightlifter. This has helped me in my life. And I know, speaking to you and all these elite athletes that are embracing the product, it's amazing. But like you said, there's a lot to life, and we want to be better as the best version of ourselves that we can be in every lane that we're in, you know? And I love that you don't spread yourself too thin. I love the fact that you're focused. Whatever you're working on is what you're focused on at that point. And you're not thinking about yesterday. You're not thinking about 5 days from now. You're thinking about right now. And, you know, this is a very, very helpful for me, this podcast and this video. And I know it'll be helpful to a lot of other folks. And we do appreciate you, Bill. You know that. And folks, again, thank you very much for your time. If you're tuning in any time zone or any day, we appreciate you. Again, you can follow Bill and I. We're at Swish30.com. Come check us out and ask questions. There's no dumb questions. We always say that. So questions, comments, feedback, anything you have, send it at support@Swish30.com. We're very responsive. We pride ourselves on that. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are a family, and we're a growing family. So we're always looking for exciting people to work with and people that have that are aligned. Let's leave it like that. So Bill, listen, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you, my friend.
And we're going to get out. Listen, when this pandemic's over, I'm going to make sure that we go for some big game fishing off the boat, you know, in the summertime, maybe the end of the summer or something. We'll get a couple of the guys out and the girls, and we'll go on a boat, charter a boat for a day, and we'll go have some fun.
That'd be a dream come true.
Amen. Amen, brother. I'm getting a little cabin fever. I don't know about you're getting out, but I'm getting cabin fever. I got my son here sometimes. I got my daughter here sometimes, and I'm pacing like a tiger some days. I want to get out, just like everybody else. But everybody, be safe out there. Obviously, it's a new world we're in. The landscape has changed, but just stay in your lane. You know, find out what works for you. Follow your heart. Get out of your head more and into your heart more, and you'll do the right thing. And Bill, listen, we thank you again. Appreciate the time, and I'll be speaking to you again soon. And any questions, folks, you come to us. And again, thanks again, Bill.
Thank you, buddy.
Have a great afternoon, bud. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye, buddy.